Hi, it is possible to find an angle if you are given a reciprocal ratio. But before you can calculate the angle, you need to turn the trigonometric ratio back into sine, cos, or tan. In our video on reciprocal ratios, we learned that cosec theta is equal to 1 over sine theta, sec theta is equal to 1 over cos theta, and cot theta is equal to 1 over tan theta. Before we look at an example, I'd like to go back to algebra for a second. Let's look at 1 over x is equal to 4. And now we can solve for x. The first thing we need to do is to take x out of the denominator of the fraction and move it to the right. And to do this, we multiply both sides by x. So on the left, we're left with 1 is equal to 4x. Now to get x by itself, we divide both sides by 4. So on the left, we now have 1 over 4 is equal to x. This applies to reciprocal ratios as well. Let's look at how we can find an angle from a basic reciprocal ratio. Let's look at cosec theta is equal to 1,73. Now cosec theta is equal to 1 over sine theta. So we can rewrite this as 1 over sine theta is equal to 1,73. Now we need to move sine theta out of the denominator of the fraction and over to the right. So we can multiply both sides by sine theta. On the left, we're left with 1 is equal to 1,73 multiplied by sine theta. Now we need to get sine theta by itself. So we need to divide both sides by 1,73. On the left, we now have 1 over 1,73 is equal to sine theta. Finally, we can get theta by itself. And to do this, we have to move sine to the right-hand side of the equal sign. And we're going to say sine to the negative 1, open a bracket, 1 over 1,73, let's close our bracket, is equal to theta. And now we can use our calculator. So we're going to say shift sine, 1 divided by 1,73, close our bracket, is equal to 35,31. This is our value of theta. Let's look at another example. Cot theta is equal to 1,357. Over here, we can see cot theta is equal to 1 over tan theta. So let's rewrite this equation. And we can say 1 over tan theta is equal to 1,357. Let's move tan out of the denominator of the fraction. And we're left with 1 is equal to 1,357 multiplied by tan theta. Now we need to get our trig ratio by itself. So we have to divide both sides by 1,357. And we get 1 over 1,357 is equal to tan theta. Finally, we can get theta by itself. And we're going to move tan to the left-hand side of the equal sign. And we get tan to the negative 1, open our bracket, 1 over 1,357, close our bracket, is equal to theta. So now we can take our calculator and we say shift tan, 1 divided by 1,357, close the bracket, is equal to 36,387. Now we can round off to 2 decimal places and we get an answer of 36,4 degrees. Now, all the rules that we have learned so far still apply when working with reciprocal ratios. Let's look at 2 sec theta is equal to 2,568. Now, before we can change sec into its reciprocal ratio, we need to get sec theta by itself. And to do this, we need to divide both sides by 2. So we can put 2 sec theta over 2 and our value over 2. Now on the left, we're left with sec theta is equal to, let's take our calculator, we can say 2,568 divided by 2 is equal to 1,284. And we can make a note of this over here. Sec theta is actually equal to 1 over cos theta. So now we can rewrite our equation. And we can say 1 over cos theta is equal to 1,284. Let's move cos to the right-hand side of the equation. On the left, we're left with 1 is equal to 1,284 multiplied by cos theta. Now we need to get cos theta by itself. So let's divide both sides by 1,284. And we get 1 over 1,284 is equal to cos theta. Finally, we can get theta by itself. So to do this, we need to move cos to the left-hand side of the equal sign. So we can say cos to the -1, open our bracket, 1 over 1,284, close the bracket, is equal to theta. And now we can get our calculator, and we can say shift cos 1 divided by 1,284, close the bracket, is equal to 38,847, round off to 2 decimal places, and we get an answer of 38,85 degrees. Let's do another one. Cosec 3 theta is equal to 1,284. Now in this case, we don't have the value of theta. We are currently working with 3 theta. Cosec theta, as we can see over here, is equal to 1 over sine theta. So we can rewrite our equation, and we say 1 over sine 3 theta is equal to 1,284. Let's move sine 3 theta across, and we get 1 is equal to 1,284 multiplied by sine 3 theta. Now to get our ratio by itself, we need to divide by 1,284. So we say 1 over 1,284 is equal to sine 3 theta. Now we can get our angle by itself. So we need to move sine to the left. And we say sine to the -1, open our bracket, 1 over 1,284, close the bracket, is equal to 3 theta. Now we can get our calculator. Let's clear our screen. We're going to say shift sine 1 divided by 1,284. Don't forget to close your bracket, is equal to 51,152 degrees. Round off to 2 decimal places, and we see that 3 theta is equal to 51,15 degrees. But we don't want 3 theta, we want theta. So let's divide 3 theta by 3, which means we divide our angle by 3 as well. Now we can say theta is equal to, let's take our calculator, we still have our angle 51,15 degrees. Let's divide by 3, it's equal to 17,05 degrees, rounded to 2 decimal places, and we see that theta is equal to 17,05 degrees. Let's do one more. Here we have a trigonometric ratio cotangent, but instead of theta, we have theta less 10 degrees. Now we know that if we have cot theta, the reciprocal is 1 over tan theta. But when we have cot theta minus 10 degrees, the reciprocal ratio becomes 1 over tan theta minus 10 degrees. And we can make this equal to 2,066. Now we can tackle this question in the same way as we have all of our previous ones. Let's move tan and our angle to the right-hand side. On the left, we're left with 1 is equal to 2,066 multiplied by tan theta minus 10 degrees. Now we can get our ratio by itself. And to do this, we have to divide both sides by 2,066. So on the left, we now have 1 over 2,066 is equal to tan theta minus 10 degrees. In the bracket, we have the total angle, and we need to solve for theta. So our next step is to keep the bracket by itself by moving tan across to the left. And we're going to have tan to the negative 1, open our bracket, 1 over 2,066, close the bracket, is equal to theta minus 10 degrees. Our next step is to find the value of tan to the negative 1 multiplied by this fraction. Let's take our calculator and we can say shift tan 1 divided by 2,066, close the bracket, is equal to 25,828 degrees. But this value is equal to theta minus 10 degrees. So over here, we can say theta minus 10 degrees is equal to 25,83 degrees. Now we can find the value of theta. And to do this, we're going to add 10 degrees to each side. And we see that theta is equal to 35,83 degrees.